Whew, well, it's been a while since I checked H110. Let's see. What do we have here? Walls. May ask about H110 from HELLMET. H110 is the best. H110 at A tier is diabolical. H110. I think I get the hint now. I think it's time I made an H110 video. The H110 is a Dominion semi-auto designated marksman rifle, or a DMR. It serves as the long rifle of the H series, as there's the H15L and the previous H94 from Dummies vs Noobs. Being that this is a Dominion semi-auto rifle, you should be able to deduce that it is produced by the Dominion of Pinchal. It produces 96 decibels of noise, which is the max in the game, and it has a level requirement of level 6 with Perturbator. It costs 6 budget, and you can't buy it in Versus, so there is no pesos conversion. This gun has 10 rounds in a magazine, and it only has 2 reserve magazines. It has an empty reload of 3.1 seconds and a tactical reload of 2.15 seconds, so pretty typical. Being as this is a DMR, why would I use this over the N8? Now that's what I'm going to talk about in this first section. First, let's rattle off the damage so that you understand more why this gun is so special compared to the N8. It has 2 damage models on unarmored and armored guns, just like the hard kill. For unarmored, it will do 122 and 126 damage, somewhere in between that, 126.67. And for armored people, it will do between 219.6 and 228 damage. And they have pierced damage profiles, but that's for a good reason. This gun has penetrating rounds. You can shoot through walls, you can shoot through doors, and you will still be able to damage the enemy. According to the Miraheze, it can penetrate through all terrain and all NPCs. This damage will only decrease once penetrating terrain, and it does not decrease when penetrating NPCs, and it can hit any amount of NPCs. On lower difficulties than Extremity, there will be an arrow that comes out of the gun. I don't have a video to show you, but it's definitely there. And it's supposed to guide you when you shoot through doors, because on lower difficulties, the camera gun outlines enemies. But since I play only Extremity, I'm not able to use this feature, and it doesn't really help me that much, considering that I can aim well enough to shoot without the arrow. This gun has a 10 times headshot multiplier, and since there's no Versus, it's not available in Versus, there is no different multiplier, it's just 10 times. And that is why this gun is so special. The thing is, this gun has such high damage that regardless of where you hit the enemy or who you hit, except if it's Mr. APU, this will always one-shot them, which is why you only have 2 reserve magazines and then 10 rounds in one mag. If this gun had, say, the mag capacity and the reserve mags of the N8, so 80 rounds, then there would be no point in using any other gun in this game. Now let's get onto some tips that Miraheze provides and some of my tips personally on how you use this thing. And yes, as usual, some of my tips will clash with the Miraheze tips. Alright, let's start with the Miraheze tips. First one, shooting hostiles that do not currently have their weapon equipped will penalize you. Okay, but I kind of think that this is a given for every gun, and that's why I don't use the H110 on the Covenant as much as the N8. Because regardless of if they have a gun or not, if I shoot them through the door, they're just gonna die and get me penalized. Second one, don't use it against hostiles with civilians behind them, as the rounds over-penetrate and kill civilians. Switch to your sidearm if you can. Okay, this is a good tip for newer players, but there comes a point in your gameplay where you know where to aim so that the civilians don't die. Third tip, this gun has only 10 rounds per full magazine, so take your time to aim at enemies and don't miss. I can kind of agree with this, but I also don't agree with this because the H110 still has enough ammo. 30 rounds is still a lot. And since you can penetrate enemies with it, take advantage of that and shoot 2 enemies at once. And besides, on most of the maps, the Covenant, Dawnbreaker in most cases, and Convergence always, you will not encounter enough enemies that you will be able to drain all 30 rounds from your mags. Okay, the fourth point is not really a tip, I can tell that. This gun, along with many others, is one of the most expensive primaries, costing 6 budget points. It's good to know this, but the thing is, this is also kind of a given because the whole point of the budget system is that you build your loadout around a certain thing. For example, if you want to build your loadout around a hammer, find stuff that will help you use the hammer well. The fifth one, the RPM of this gun is considerable, small, so it is recommended to bring a reliable secondary that excels in close range combat. This is, again, something for new players. I agree with this if you are a noob. However, again, there comes a point when you're playing HELLMET that the gun does not need to have a high fire rate. The K1889 is a perfect example of this. Let's speed through some of these because I am horrible at brevity. Consider using this with the ammo box due to its very low ammo capacity. Again, if you're a noob and you're level 6 and you just got this, okay, that's a good tip. But again, most of these tips, there comes a point when you play HELLMET that you are good enough that you don't need the ammo box and you don't need to bring a super good sidearm. And then the last one, the guiding arrow is not present if the difficulty is extremity. Again, this is a given. I'm pretty sure that there's a tip in the game when you die that states this. Alright, so how about my tips? How do I recommend you use this gun? First of all, this is an all-range gun. Don't restrict yourself to long range just because they say it's a marksman rifle. A lot of people do that mistake with the H110, the Bishan OV4, and the N8, and that's why a lot of people don't get the best results with it, especially noobs. Second of all, learn not to rely on the arrow. If you want to grind on higher levels, the H110 is a great gun for that. But on extremity, which has the highest payout, there will be no arrow. So learn to play with the H110 without using the arrow. And then finally, I think this is a pretty good tip with the H110. Don't panic. I see a lot of people that I know spamming the gun just because it has a 10 RPM higher fire rate than the N8. Don't do that. This gun is good enough that even if there's 5 guys like in a patrol team just running towards you and jumping you, you can wait till they line up, which happens very often, and you can take care of them all in one shot. Now let's have some trivia about the H110, and this time it's actually going to be pretty interesting because it has a lot to do with the development of the game. Again, we'll try to go through these fast because I am horrible at maintaining brevity. The H110 is based on the MSBS Grot 762N, which is made in Poland by FB. The old H15L assault rifle that the H110 replaced is based on the MSBS Grot. Despite the fact that this gun is a DMR, it doesn't feature an optic unlike the H15 for whatever reason. It was added to replace the H15, which was an assault rifle similar to, let's say, the N2A1 or the H66A, but it had a thermal scope which could locate through enemies through walls. Since I found this thing hard to balance and didn't want to get rid of the H15 series entirely, so I replaced it with the camera gun, which makes the H110 the second Dominion weapon added to the HELLMET demos. Canonically, its original rifle assault platform variant, the H15, replaced the older H94, which can be found in the sister game Dummies vs Noobs, of which the H94 had replaced the even older H66A and its other variants. And the H110 itself also makes an appearance in the Dummies vs Noobs, however it appears more like the M110. So personally, in my headcanon, I don't consider it the same gun. Alright, now that that's over, now let's go all the way over to my final thoughts. What are my thoughts on this gun? I didn't use this gun much before I started recording this video. I really enjoyed it on the few times that I just used it because I had nothing else to use and I was bored. But upon revisiting it, I just realized that it's really such a fun and enjoyable gun to play with. Not just because of the high damage, but also because of the penetration. It opens up so many new opportunities for you to fight enemies in. Even if you can't just kill someone because they have a gun on their back, it's still useful in an active firefight. And most of all, it's really a break from the relatively fast-paced gameplay that I have for HELLMET, because with this I have to be slow and careful so that when I do have to kill a bunch of people, I can always do it from the safety of, say, one behind a door or something like that. And it's really just a fun gun to use. I really should use it more, and I will be using it more when I play with my friends in the future. So anyways, thank you for watching. Next week, we might be able to get the hard kill up to a usable condition, so there is a chance that we can do the hard kill next week, but it's not guaranteed. But I hope you enjoyed. Have a good one and stay safe on the field.